There's a whole box of brand new Bibles. I just bought them for this service specifically. If you'd like to get a Bible and you'd like to follow along, there's a brand new box of Bibles. Please, you're welcome to get one. You're welcome to get one. You're welcome to see it. We're going to be jumping around and having a lot of fun tonight. We're going to be talking about running the race. We're talking about running in a race. It'll be a whole lot of fun. Tonight, everyone got a Bible? Where's your Bible? Bible? Go get one. Who doesn't have a Bible? Hold your Bible in the air. Everyone put your Bible up. Bam! Come on, if I got to be in my Bible at least 7 days a week, y'all better be in it for an hour. That's what I'm talking about. Everyone's got their Bible. Good. Okay, so if you want to follow along, open up to Hebrews 12. When I say if you want to follow along, that's for the adults. Youth, open your Bibles. Hebrews 12. 1 through 3. That's what we're going to be reading today. And I'll give you all a minute to get in there. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. This is dangerous. You see all these cords up here? Whew. I could die. 12. 1 through 3. I see some eyes. Somebody's there. Somebody else is not there. Waiting. All right, I'll read it. It says, "Therefore, since we have such a large cloud of witnesses surrounding us, let us lay aside every hindrance and the sin that is so easily ensnares us. Let us run with endurance in the race that lies before us, keeping our eyes on Jesus, the source and the perfecter of our faith. For the joy that lays before him, he endures the cross, despising the shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. For consider him who endured such hostility from sinners against himself, so that you won't grow weary or give up." We're going to open in prayer here. Father, Lord, oftentimes we overlook some of the things we do. Oftentimes we overlook some of the things you did. And so as we get in tonight in your lesson about running that race, let us just have us humble ourselves and open our hearts to accept the fact that we are running a race. And let us get excited as we get in God's word. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, so we have been talking about Galatians. Yeah, we're not talking about Galatians anymore. Yay! No, nobody cares. Okay, good. So we're talking about, today we're going to talk about running a race. Have you ever run a race? Ran a race, whatever. Have you ever ran against somebody else to win? I'm pretty sure everybody that has ever attended a school or ever been the age 5 years old has ran a race. Okay? Now I want you to think about that. How did it make you feel to run the race? Tired for me. I'm fat and lazy. Did you finish the race? Did you give up on the race? Was there pain? Were you like sore? I know when I ran track in high school, man, those races suck. Your legs all hurt. Or was it just like, it's easy? Or was it hard? I want you to really think about that race tonight, because tonight we're going to be correlating that. Because, see, oftentimes or times we've been talking about how us youth we need to start acting the way we need to act. We need to stop thinking about me. We need to stop doing this. And we've done that. We've kind of done that now. Kind of. You guys are still working on it. But you guys have done that. We're starting to get out of that habit of only me. Now we're part of the team. So now we're running the race and we have to figure out, what are we going to do about this race now? So now we're going to talk about that tonight here. So we're going to be talking about running that race with God. Because we are in a race, whether you guys want to believe it or not. We are in that race where we run with God. We're going to be talking about the type of race we're running with God, because there's different types. You have the race where you're arguing with God. You have the race where you're running to become a Christian. You have that race that you're a Christian and you're striving to get to heaven. There's different types of races here. And we're going to talk about the set of standards that God gave us to run the race. We're going to be talking about the secrets. You know, everyone likes a good secret on how to win. I mean, I was told a secret how to win in basketball the other day. Someone told me, you go to do a layup, you just put your knee up. So if they hit you, it's automatic foul. That is a dirty secret. That's exactly what that is. All you're trying to do is just get extra points. But it's a secret, and everybody knows it. Everybody does it. Same thing with running. There's always a secret. Breathe in your nose, out your mouth, you know. But there's different types of races here. And see, here we're talking about a race that we have to consider everybody around us. Hebrews here talks about the race that there's a large cloud of witnesses surrounding us. And we have to forget the things that hinder us from running the race. So we're going to start talking about your race. What is your race? And I want you to think back at this race here. Think back at running and having fun and getting tired and questioning every moment of your muscle while you're running the race. Why did I do this? Especially when you bet money. I know some high schoolers, yeah, I could beat you in a race. Yeah, no. Huh. Like $5 later, nope. But we have to see the race. We have to understand what our race is, because you don't just run a race and never know what you're doing. You don't get on the track and you're like, all right, I'm going to run a race, but I don't know where I'm going. They always tell you where to go, right? You don't run a race and you're like, all right, I'm just going to do it. I never trained. I never practiced, but I'm going to go run that marathon. You never do that. No. And even when they set up for a marathon, they put signs out, right? They put the 20.6K or whatever. Come this way. Fixed it. Man, I can fix everything. Look at that. I should be a music guy. But they always put stuff out. See, God did the same thing in our lives here. And that's what he's talking about here. Talking about one of the things I focus on is here, let us run with endurance for the race that lies before us. Keeping our eyes on Jesus. That's the key phrase there. Keeping your eyes on Jesus. The source and the perfecter of our faith. Because he was the source of our faith, right? That's where we believe. And to start your race, you have to start the race. How do you start the race? Well, most people that have ever ran track or have ever seen track runners, they line up on their little chalks. We used to call them shooters. I don't know what they call them now. They line up on their little foot thing, and you wait for the guy with the gun. Once he shoots the gun, you run as fast as you can and hope you win. I never won. I was the slowest kid in my school, but that's okay. But you hope you win, right? But there was always that preparation. So that preparation for your race comes when you accept Jesus, right? That's your preparation. You can't run a Christian race and not be a Christian. It just doesn't make sense. You can't play a sport and not be an athlete. You just can't. And that's where it's talking here is Jesus was the source of our race. There's always a source. We always have to find the foundation of that race. And as young people, we kind of lose track of that foundation that we run. We lose track. We start thinking about other things. We start thinking about things that just slowly strays us away. Even though that he's talking here, he's saying, hey, keep your eyes on Jesus here. See, because when you think back to your race that you've ever ran. I hope you're all thinking of a race. Most of y'all are like, I'm not listening, thinking of a race. But think back to a race you ever ran. And think about any of the reasons you could have quit. Any of the reasons you could have quit a race. Your shoe's untied. You can't breathe. I get that problem. I have asthma. Whew, can't breathe. Your muscles hurt. If you're racing cars, you got a flat tire. You ain't got no gas. No gas, no go. That's the trick. But or anything, you're racing to cook food. You don't have the food. There's plenty of things. It's funny, me and my wife watch the cooking channel a lot. I know, you can tell. But we watch the cooking channel a lot. Our favorite show, or my favorite show to watch, is I love watching the Little Chop Show. It's the show they give them mystery things in a basket, and they have to make something, and whoever has the best dish wins. It's the craziest show ever, because they're you get 30 minutes to make an entree with carrots, cotton candy, and a roasted chicken that's already cooked. Those are the things, they just throw stuff in there, all right, now cook. And people do it. Well, it's funny because those people will move so fast, and they're going so well, and then you just see someone just grabs their hand. And it's every episode, someone always cuts a finger off or cuts their hand because they're not paying attention, because instead of preparing for the race, they're just racing the clock. 30 minutes, I got to get 30 minutes done. You can do a lot in 30 minutes with an already cooked chicken. But people, they race. They try to get it done. And then they always end up hurt. And then all of a sudden, usually that's the person that goes home, because now they're losing time. Now they're losing stuff. Because that was their reason why they stepped out of their race. They didn't quit their race, but they got pulled out of their race because instead of preparing for their race in a manner in which they could win, they rushed through it. They rushed through it to the fact where they can't win. See, we in life do the same thing. We rush through things in our Christian race here, our race that we run, and we go and we let little things to God, they're big things to us, but we let the little things pull us out of that race. Let the little things that run, little things that stop us from running this race here. Because see here, it's saying we're supposed to run this race with endurance. Hebrews is talking, we run that race with endurance because everybody's watching. Nothing makes you try harder than when everybody's watching you do something, right? Nothing makes you try harder. It doesn't matter what it is. They don't care. You could be cutting onions. If everyone's standing there watching, you're trying to cut them all perfect. Trust me, I know. I used to make pizza for a living. That's what I did. And I was a line cook. And The pizza place, the pizza side of it, you think be in the back with all the other food? No, it's right in front of everybody. Then all the people, and I worked on the strip, so most of the people are drunk anyway, and they're all standing there and they just watch you make pizza all day. And that's all they do. And there's guys that'll stand there 30 minutes. They're just staring at you while you're making pizzas. And you just gotta keep doing it. But once you feel them watching you, you automatically try harder. You're like, I'm gonna make this pizza right, so nobody knows that I'm messing up or cheating the system or whatever, right? But you always try harder. See, but we take these little things and it stops us because we tend to look away from those reasons to. We look at the witnesses and say, okay, well, because of it, I'm not going to run a race, or I'm going to stop because I don't want to be embarrassed. See, our list goes on to where we have physical things. Your shoes untied, you can't breathe. Those are physical things with a physical race. Your spiritual race has the same kind of things. It has depression. That's the thing that stops your Christianity walk. Drugs, alcohol. Young adults, our friends, those stop us for sure. We spend the night at our friend's house, or we I did that one on purpose. That was funny. We spend the night at our friend's house, or we care what they think, or what they're going to say to us, or what they're going to do. So because of it, I got to stop my race for a minute while I hang out with my friends, and then I'll get back out there. We tend to look at our lives at home. Even us adults do that too. Look at things at home. You look at man, I wish I had a bigger house. I wish I had a bigger house. But we look at that and it sounds stupid, but looking at your home, you're like, well, hold on now. I'm doing what God said. Why isn't He blessing me? He's blessing these people that aren't following Him, but He's not blessing me. He's blessing that guy that's making millions of dollars, but He's blessing that quarterback. He's not blessing me. Quarterback, $40 million. Crazy. 24 years old. Whew. But why isn't He blessing me? See, we use those kind of things and we're like, no, hold on now. What are you doing? Or we go to, as kids, we go to, my parents don't care about me. We all relate to that. Everyone thinks your parents don't care about you. My family doesn't love me. The list that literally never ends. There's always something in our lives. And the younger we are, the longer the list. The older we are, the more detailed the list. It's different. The short list, but very detailed. Paragraphs we're talking here. But these lists it's the thing that us younger generation, where did I get this pen? These younger generations tend to face very much on the outside world nowadays. Because these lists are the things that the world tells you, all right, now stop running. Stop racing. Stop doing it. You're not good enough. I remember one of the youth, we were at a basketball game, and he was chosen to do a special activity in the middle of halftime. I'm not going to tell you guys his name. Well, he was missing. Simple. You had to do a layup, a free throw, and a three-pointer. Simple, right? And it was like, well, why can't you do it? He said, because the other team was standing on the sideline, just watching them, telling them, you can't do it. You suck. You miss. You suck. And so because of it, but how realistic is that? How realistic is that as Christians running this race here? Is you have people on those outlines. You have people that are on the side that are like, you can't do this. Or you're not a really Christian. Or you're terrible at this. Or why are you doing that? Why are you doing this? It's these clouds of witnesses. See, this passage here sticks to us so well because it tells us to lay the hindrance aside. It tells us that those large clouds of witnesses are watching us. It does not tell us they're being nice while they're watching us. It does not say that they're being friendly. Because I know, and younger people know, young people are mean to each other. It's crazy how mean they are to each other. Some of them are looking at me like, yeah, that's me. I'm the mean one. I know you guys are. I hear the way y'all talk at school. But we see that. And it doesn't say these large clouds of witnesses are going to be nice. It doesn't say they're going to be nice. All it's saying is they're watching. That's what it says. They're watching. A witness watches. That's all they do. But we're supposed to lay what down because they're watching and they're talking. And when they talk, you hear it. And that's what causes that hindrance. That's what causes that stuff. Because there's so many things in our life that society says is okay that hinders us and ensnares us, stops us. Why do I need to be a Christian if the world says this is okay and the Christianity says this isn't okay? Everyone else is doing it. Why can't I? It stops us. But we have to lay behind it because we have that source. We have Jesus. We have the one thing that's going to bless us more than anything else because it's joy. It gives us joy, lays before Him. And it tells you, and then it goes on to the little bit in the passage a little bit later, at the end of the passage, it tells you, Okay, you think your life's bad. You think your life is bad. You think these hindrances are stopping you. Okay, well, here's why you need to lay them down. Jesus did the cross, and he wasn't happy about it, but he still endured it for you. Despising the shame. People spit on him. People mutilated him. People made fun of him. People didn't care. These are people that watched him do miracles and were like, that ain't Jesus. Made fun of him even to the point where when he was on the cross, they were making fun of him. I prove you're Jesus. I can't do it. And they made fun of him. But he endured every moment of it. He endured it. And then this is the last point we point out in this passage here about this race that we're running is the part that he endured it is he endured it so we don't get tired. So we don't get worn out. So we don't give up. Because oftentimes we give up. We listen to this passage here, but we forget that last part of it. We forget the fact that he did it already, so we don't have to get tired about it. He's that guy you're running and he hands you water while you're running. A really fast guy that always appears and he's like, water, water, water. He's always that guy. He's always there for us. But do we take the water? Do we take that person in our life? Because see, Hebrews is saying that the witnesses are there. But it's how you act when those experiments, when those times of trouble come, when those hindrances come. Because if you keep running and you never stop running, there's a reward. But if you stop running and you stop, everyone's watching. And it's like, okay, well, that's what I do now. I need to quit. I need to give up. Christians aren't going to hold to their values. A lot of times, one of the number one things is crazy that they say Christians are bad for is holding true to what they say they do. And you can see that every day. Nobody likes a hypocrite, but you see it every day in the Christian walk. You see it at every point because nobody likes a hypocrite. But that's the first thing. And they take it a little overboard. You look at it and it's like, you said one swear word, you're not a Christian. How dare you? It's like, hold on now, I didn't say I was perfect. Or, you did this one thing, how dare you? Like, they take it to the extreme. But it's that fact that they're watching and they do that one thing. They take that one little thing to the extreme. And it gives them that excuse. It gives them that excuse to the point that when we're running the race that we let these witnesses stop us. But instead you look at the witnesses and it's simple. You're not running the race. I'm running the race. And when I get tired, I got the one thing that I can tag in and will run forever. Because that's what he's saying here. Jesus is saying, you can tag me in, I'm going to run. I don't care how tired you get. I'm going to make sure you're not tired. I'll run. I'm the guy that gives the baton and runs 10 laps when I'm only supposed to run 1. He's the guy that keeps going. But then he says, hey, when you maintain that race and you tag me in and you get that faith and you keep winning that race and you start chugging along, it doesn't care how tired you're getting. You get a reward. You get a reward for running that race. And we're going to get into that passage here in 2 Timothy 4, 6 through 8, if y'all want to open up here. We're going to talk about this reward that we get. Because Paul is talking to Timothy. He's talking about his race being done. He's talking about finishing what he's accomplished. It says, for I have already been poured out as a drink offering, and the time for my departure is close. I have fought the good fight. I've finished the race. I have kept the faith. There is reserved for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will give me on the day, and not only to me, but all those who loved his appearing. See, Paul is talking to Timothy here. This is one of Paul's last things. He's about to die. That's exactly what's going on right now. He's in jail, and it's not like before when he was in jail where he's like, all right, I'm getting out. Like, God's got this. He's at this point where it's like, all right, God has showed me that this is my time. I'm done. And he's talking to Timothy here, and he's telling him, hey, I ran that race. And as long as I kept maintaining that race, guess what? There's a reward for me. There's a crown of righteousness for me, which only God can give me. That's the reward that we strive for as Christians. We strive to get excited for because we get that crown when we're saved. We get that crown when we get the crown when we're saved, but you get the pretty jewels when you do the works. The pretty jewels on the crown. And see, the crazy part here that a lot of us tend to overlook sometimes is right here where it says, He will give to me on the day, but not only to me, but to all those who loved his appearing. You know how crazy that is if you actually think about it? All those who loved his appearing on the one specific day, on that judgment day, right? That means we, as Christians, will be getting the crown the exact same day Paul gets the crown. The exact same day Peter gets the crown. We will all be getting the crown on the exact same day. How crazy is it to think, just think about it, okay? We're reading about these guys. We're learning from these guys. But on that one day, we're all going to be rewarded together. So you get to witness them get their crown. They witness you get the crown. All of a sudden, I'm learning from you. Now we're the same. We're getting the same crown. That is crazy when you think about it. When you really think about this passage, it's not just like, okay, well, good for you, Paul. You got a reward. Like, I'll get my reward when I'm there. No, he's up there waiting for us to get up there to get that reward. We all get it together. It's crazy when you think about that. It's these little things that we think about as crazy in the Bible. But Paul says, hey, there is a reward. I've seen it. I know it. I guarantee it. But you have to keep running. This is his last letter of encouragement to Timothy, because Timothy is going through a hard time here. And the one church Timothy's worried about, Paul knows he's worried about it. He talks about it later, a little bit before, is the church of Corinth, because they all don't like him. They all make fun of him. They're all, you're young and I'm old. Like, what are you going to teach me? They all make fun of him. So this last little bit of encouragement he can give, because Paul knows his time's done. But he tells them, hey, you're already in the race. See, we as Christians, we're already in the race. Once you get saved, you're in the race. You've already started your running. You're going. But you have to endure the faith. You have to keep doing it. Because when you do, you're going to be up there getting that crown with me. You're going to be up there same day as I am. And you're going to be sharing that excitement with me. We're going to be talking about it. Because there are things that will hinder you. There's things that hindered Paul. We know these things. He was in jail, I don't know how many times. He was beaten, who knows how many times. Threatened to be killed, who knows how many times. Ran out of a city, who knows how many times. And the list goes on. Paul probably would have died hundreds of years ago if God wasn't taking care of him. Paul probably would have died right there as Saul. But God took care of him. But he says, but I see these things. I know these things. I kept this faith. I ran this race. See, as young people, we need to keep the faith. Because we've gotten to the point as Christians where we make people feel welcome. I know that. I've had adults tell me we're starting to make youth feel welcome. We're starting to make parents and adults feel welcome, which is good. We need to keep doing it and get better. You're never good at it. So now that we've started doing the Christian stuff and we started acting like Christians like we should be, now we need to maintain it. Because those little things in our life stops us from doing it. Those little things, and when I mean little things, I mean depression sounds like a big thing. It's not a big thing for God. Your home life is a big thing, not a big thing for God. Nothing is a big thing for God. So they're little things. But we let them stop us from running. We use it as an excuse. Have you ever ran a race and your shoe's untied? First thing you do is stop to tie your shoe, right? That's what everyone does. Like, oh, my shoe's untied. I don't want to get hurt. But that's an excuse. Because really, just take your shoe off and run. I've seen people run right out of their shoes and they keep going. I think I watched that at a basketball game in the middle school. Someone lost their shoe and they kept running. I was like, put your shoe on. Even the ref was like, put your shoe on. Nope. They wanted the ball. They didn't care. It was crazy. But we use these things to stop us. And we got to stop letting it stop us, because that reward is one thing that we're going to cherish. That reward is one thing that we're going to do, because God does bless us. And He blesses us throughout the race. He gives us that water, that one little sip of water. And that one little sip of water could be a little reward. It could be a big reward. It could be a little treat, or it could be something big. But you have to look at it as God is blessing you. See, I can give you the perfect example right here. You can talk about my whole family here. Whole family. And I'm the only one I could say that has maintained the faith. I'm the only one that's maintained the race. And it's been hard. I could say my sisters have strayed. I can say my parents have strayed. I can say all this stuff has strayed. But I've maintained that faith. But God has blessed me more than I can count. And it seems like He hasn't when you think about it. But He has. Because my youngest, and they know I'm telling you guys this story. They don't care. My youngest sister, she doesn't have the faith at all. She's gone. But she's over here. She's dropped out of high school. She has a kid that she can't afford. She has a job every 3 weeks. A new job. And these things, because she maintained the faith, God stopped blessing her because she quit the race. Then you go to my older sister. My older sister, she's got a family. They're taken care of. They're doing stuff like that. And God has blessed them. But then you look at their situation, you look like God could bless you more, but you just need to trust Him more. And trust Him more. My mother, she has a medical condition. She has a pseudotumor cerebri. That literally means fake tumor. That's what it means, if you guys didn't know. That's how doctors talk, right? They just add letters together and they say, it means fake tumor. What that means is her brain creates too much fluid, causes a pressure in the brain that can cause strokes and stuff like that. It fakes a tumor. Does exactly what a tumor does, but there's no tumor there. It's a disease that 1 out of every 4 women get. It's like 0.1% chance a man gets it. 1 out of every 4 women get it, though. And it kills most people that have it. Most females that have it don't live past the age of 30. Don't live past the age of 30. That's what she has. But maintaining the faith. And she uses that, and it sucks because it's painful. I mean, we see it. Mother's going to die one day. We know. I mean, it's terrible, but we know. But you have to maintain the faith. God is not punishing you because you got a disease. And that's kind of where she's at. Is maybe God's punishing me. Maybe God's quitting me. You have to maintain the faith. See, by keeping running here, I'm here, and I'm blessed. I have a church that loves me. I have a house. I have a family. I have kids. I make more money than anybody in my family. I'm blessed because I've kept the faith. You guys have to keep the faith because it gets hard, and it's going to get harder, and that race gets harder because the longer you run in that mile, that 26 mile, the longer you run a race, the more tired you become. Eventually your lungs start seizing, you can't breathe, but you keep running. We have to keep running. We can't quit. We can't stop because Jesus says, I'm not going to let you stop. You're not going to get hurt, but you have to keep doing it. You have to not stray because when you stray, you start losing the faith. You start quitting the race. Next thing you know, you're the last place. And when you're in last place, you don't even try. Like, you're in last place of running, especially in track. When you're in last place and you're like way in last place, you just walk. You're like, I'm not running. Like, this is stupid. Why am I hurting myself? I'm going to lose anyway. What's the worst that happens? I lose? Like, I'm already losing. So you don't even try. And so what did you benefit by that? You didn't do anything. You just walked. You got a participation medal. Like, you showed up to the race. Congratulations. That's what Christ is saying. Christ wants you to try. Don't be that last place person. Don't get that participation medal. Because you become a Christian, you get that, you're going to heaven. Don't get me wrong. You're going to heaven. When you believe in Jesus, you're going to heaven. That does not mean you're done. That does not mean the race is over. Your race just started. That does not mean you just wait till you get the participation medal. I show up. See, Paul didn't wait. Paul knows he's getting a crown. When you become a Christian, you know you're getting a crown. But you should strive for the pretty jewels that go with the crown. You have to get involved. You have to do work because God told us to. Because God said, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to maintain you. I'm going to bless you because you ran that race. But it all starts with you not getting tired. It all starts with you not being in last place. Because nobody likes to lose. I hate losing. I'm very competitive. But nobody likes to. But it doesn't matter how far you stray because Jesus is willing to pick you back up and put you back in that race. It doesn't matter how tired you get because He's willing to help you. But you have to maintain the faith. You have to maintain what God wants for you. So tonight becomes the one question. It becomes the one thing that we need to think about is have you stopped the race? Have you strayed from your race? Have you stopped at the fact that the race keeps going? Because when you get tired and you start to walk your race, guess what? Everyone else is still running. The race doesn't stop just because you got a flat tire in your car race, if you ever watch cars race. Or if the horse breaks a foot. You guys ever watch the horse races? Probably not, because I never watched it either. Like, it's for wiser people. But they never stop the race just because you stopped. But that doesn't mean those people don't get back on race. That doesn't mean you don't get back on track and try. The question is, have you strayed from your race? Have you stopped your race? You know, after we go into our invitation, and see, we sometimes we sit there and we just stare into space and like, this is stupid. Sometimes we sing. Sometimes y'all just cross your arms and stare at the song like, this is stupid. But I want you to truly take this time. Truly. Because it's important. It's not important to me. I mean, it is important to me, but it's not important for me, for you guys to take this time. See, the band comes up and they come and they play this invitation. But I want you to take this time to really think about your race. Really think about where you are. Really think about it. Sometimes we take this altar as a joke. Ryan talked about that this morning. This altar's a joke. It's not really a joke. They're just stairs. But sometimes you have to be moved from some place that you're comfortable to really humble yourself. See, when you're running a race, you don't drink water when you first start the race. Like you're not like, I'm good, I'm pumped with energy, I'm gonna drink water. No, you drink water when you start getting tired. Same thing in any sport. I don't care what sport you play, basketball, football, soccer, baseball. When you're running around on that basketball court back and forth and stuff, once they call a timeout and you sit down, you know you're drinking water because you're tired from running back and forth. It's the same thing. Are you tired? And this is the water. See, also, sometimes you have to be moved. You have to be made exhausted. You have to be made tired to really want to drink that water. That's what the altar represents, is being tired. Sometimes you have to leave your comfortable place to come to the altar to pray. That's the purpose of the altar. Is because anybody can pray from their chair. That's comfortability. Like, if everyone's praying at the chair, nobody stops. Like, nobody's looking at me. To be tired and come to the altar is that is drinking water. That's you have to be moved to feel that humbleness. So we're going to come up and we're going to have that invitation. It's going to be, but it's time to think about it. What is your race like? What are you doing? The altar's open. Go to the altar. Do it. You want to pray with me?